I can, if we look at our culture, the different organizations, the churches, the volunteer organizations, corporations, any kind of entity is part of our world. There's only one that is transparent. There's only one whose modus operandi and focus is service. And there's only one that has accountability. I don't think there's any accountability with churches or volunteer organizations. Try to find out from the various foundations or any corporation of any kind or any partnership or any limited corporation. Ask them questions about their operation. Ask if they'll focus on helping or paying attention to the results of their conduct. Most people are focused on freedom to do things versus freedom from doing things. And I suggest to you the only entity in our culture that is transparent, because all their documentation is public, is the government. The only entity that is accountable, because we can replace officers of government, is the government. And I have to disagree with Tom. A lot of people look at the economy as a function of economics, as saving money. I've been very successful because I've always focused not on cutting costs, but increasing revenue. When people have jobs, you've created customers. Businesses, Henry Ford had it right. You pay your employees correctly so they can buy things. What I was just suggesting, if we go to a 4-day work week, I've just created 30 million more customers. And as somebody that wants to sell something, I thrive on customers. I've never really concerned myself with costs. I don't want to be stupid, but I've always spent my life trying to generate revenue. I cut costs, generate revenue. And just ask yourself, what in our culture is accountable and transparent?
But now, in a way, you two agree, because you increase jobs but reduce hours. So the input is lessened, but you have the advantage, to the degree that people have purpose or sense of worth. I think jobs produce some psychological benefits that getting up, having a routine, feeling you're doing something that is a contribution to products.
Well, that's part of it. The workers are not a cost, they're customers. People who work are customers.
I understand your point.
And that's what people have got to, they look at as an expense. And that's only part of the story, and it's the wrong part of the story.
Why do you need customers? Let's get back to that. Why do you need customers? So you can get money in. What do you need money for? So you can buy stuff, right?
Well, no, so you got a tool. Money's a tool.
Okay.
If you live with stuff, that's a mistake. But it's a tool. It's like water. It's like strengthen your arms. It's a tool.
Well, there's no money here. We're cooperating fine. We can get things from each other without money.
Well, the space here,
well, I mean, but I'm saying, in a society, you could come up with a moneyless society if everybody trusted that if you do what helps me, I'll do what helps you. Blah blah blah.
The old barter system.
Whatever. And if you got robots to do the farming, I got all the vegetables I can eat. I got everything I need to eat. I got robots to build my house. I got robots to make my clothes. What the heck do I need money for? Robots are...
You need a life.
And we have gone a little bit off of the topic, and yet it does relate back to the topic, because we cannot talk, we cannot listen to any of the political candidates right now, any of them, from Justin Amash, Michigan's 3rd congressional representative, on up to the slate of Republican candidates of Barack Obama, who don't spin their own legislation towards job killing on the other side of the aisle. And so jobs are a fact of life for our politicians, because right now they are a fact of life for us. And we'll get back to the idea of 100% liberty and volunteerism. And I can tell you, volunteers don't get paid. I am and have been a volunteer, and I said, when I'm paid enough to volunteer again, I will. With that said, I'm going to pass around our donation jar, because currency is the lubrication of our economy and our efforts, and allows us to fulfill our mission in many ways. And allows them to sponsor grassroots activities that we can all participate in towards the secular society based on science, reason, freedom of thought, critical examination, and humanistic values.
And while you're doing that, I'd like to respond, and then he has something to say as well. As far as the utopian thing, that's often brought up, and I had a feeling that somebody would refer to these ideas as utopian. This is definitely not utopian. I understand that there are going to be problems, there are going to be disagreements, and I'm not talking about everybody, the government disappears tomorrow and it's all magic and everybody's singing Kumbaya. I'm definitely not talking about a utopia. I'm just talking about the option and the choice. The gentleman here in the front was talking about going to a 4-day work week, and that's fine. If he has a company, a very large company, and he wants to go to a 4-day work week, and that's better for his customers, for his employees, for himself, that's fine. I have no problem with that at all. The only problem I have is if he wanted to take this to a politician and enact something in law that nobody could work more than 4 days a week, or if somebody wants to work 5 or 6 days a week, would you have a problem with that? If somebody wants
so long as it's volitional.
Yeah.
Mandatory, people work 7 days a week, then 6 and 5 historically, and some people work a great deal more hours, but they do it on their own choice.
Right.
Versus,
The mandatory is what I have a
necessity
problem with.
to keep a job, you've got to work according to the dictates of your employer. That's all a matter of legislation.
And that's all a matter, it should all be a matter of choice. Like if I want to work for a company that has, a 3 or 4 day work week, cool. If that works for me, if that works for the company, and if that's not enough work for me, then I can choose to work maybe another couple of days and, have 2 jobs that are both part-time. There are lots of different options, and you should be able to do whatever you want, as long as it's a voluntary interaction and as long as it's not mandated or forced or made into a law. Natural law basically is don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. That's natural law. And once you start forcing others to do what it is that you want them to do, or once you vote for those guns to be pointed at those other people, all this enemy imagery comes up between, you got the Democrats and you got the Republicans. Well, they're both wings on the same sickly, evil bird of prey that is the United States government. And I know that's a very, very volatile thing to say, but there's a couple other comments.
Yes.
Just an observation that the world seems to be heading towards anarchy as the